Good morning, everyone. My name is Lytle, and I'll be hosting today's training. Today's class is just an introduction to EDGE. So what we're going to do is create a report. We're going to do a total cost analysis that you see on the screen here. We're going to create an FHA product and a conventional product. And the reason why I picked these two products to create, they're the most common, but everything that we're doing between these two products can also be done with any type of arms or fix. So that's why we chose these two. When we go in it, we're going to show you how to create a template for products as well as fees. So with that, it's going to speed you through the process of creating a report. So what I would like to do now is launch a couple polls just to see where you're at on the call. So Marcy, if you could go ahead and launch those polls for me. Okay, so we have our first poll. Have you had a chance to create a Mortgage Coach report yet? So if you could go ahead and respond to that, and please put in your polls, 100%. Okay, perfect. So it looks like no one's created a report yet, so this is the perfect spot to start. So, okay, if we could get one more. Okay, then Marcy, could go ahead and put in the next poll. And this one, to have you download the mobile app. Have you done that? Yes or no? If you could go ahead and put that in there, if everyone can answer. Sounds good. So it looks like we have half of you downloaded it, and a couple haven't. So it'll be real quick. I'll show you how to do that process as well. Okay, thank you, Marcy. Go ahead and pull down that poll. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is to be able to show you our mobile app real quick. So to be able to do that, I am going to go ahead and bring you to, just one moment. Okay, so what I'm doing is bringing up my rate watch, and we're able to show you on Reflector. So with this, this is our Rate Watch app. You'll notice that the background is red. It's because we're having negative pricing today. And when you use this app here, it's a download for your mobile devices, iOS, as well as an Android. So with this, we also have, I put in the chat box the links to the download for your desktop, as well as an online version. But just to show you how Rate Watch works real quick with the mobile app, if you click on the bars right here, you'll see all your menu options. The home screen will show you just the movements for a time period. You have your day watch. This will show you how the rates are moving today. So you can see at the opening bell, you have the line right here, and we've already had one alert, and then it's all rates have gone down, and we had a second alert. And I'll show you also how to be able to receive those alerts. As we go through, these are the two alerts I've received regarding the rate changes, so we'll be able to show you how to do that. We have Edge views. If you create Edge reports and you have alerts, you'll be able to see them in this account as well. We have commentary. Commentary is great. Right here we have Dan Rawitch, who provides us a video each day and talks about the economic news. You can take this link here and you can bookmark it, so it will always be updated with that same link, so that would be an easy way. Instead of always having to come here, you have it on your desktop. And then you'll also see with Neil's information, he has a lot of information about the economic data as well, and he also provides a little more information, and this is all in written format, so you have this as well. So you have that. You have an option to be able to track lender movements with their rates on the average. And then your settings at the very end. This is where you go ahead and set up your email alerts. You can see I have all these indicated and a cell phone number. And then you can update the schedule on the times when you want to receive those rates. So you'll have all that information here, and to be able to download it, let me show you. You just go to your App Store, and you'll see that I have a search for Mortgage Coach up in the upper corner. So with that, I'm just pressing return, and you'll see we have two apps. So this way you could download our Rate Watch app and have that, as well as the Mortgage Coach app. This is the viewer for the reports for the consumer. So download both of those, and you'll be able to use those on your mobile devices. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to turn off my reflector, and let's get into Edge. So if you haven't logged into your Edge account, let's go ahead and do so now. So the log in or just edge.mortgagecoach.com, and even if you aren't creating the report with me, get into your Edge account and follow along with me just in the movement so you get familiar with it, since this is the first time that you guys are working on that Edge report. So put in your email address. First time through, it would be pass123, and then the system will prompt you for your password. If you need a password reset, you could just email us at support, and we'll be able to provide that information for you. I also want to let you know, on the GoToMeeting, there is a question area. If you can open up your question box and have it open, and if you have any questions at all along the way, please post them in there. I'll be able to answer them for you. So in Edge, we have our home screen, and that's what you're viewing now. So we have our upper section here, which are client-facing reports, which is the total cost analysis that we're creating today. And you also have a rent versus own. In the lower half here, we have our partner section. So this is your open house flyer as well as seller buy down. So what the functions we're using today can be used for all these reports. So the next thing I want you to do is go ahead and let's click on your settings. So in your settings, this is your contact information. So with this, make sure if this is filled out completely, make sure when your license number is here that you put in the identifier in front of that number, because it will appear on the report exactly what's in here. So make sure you have this information. If your area is grayed out like mine, you might be on an enterprise account, which means they're controlling these fields. And you can either, if there is something that needs correction, either email us at support or contact your administrator on the site license, and they'll be able to assist you. Make sure you have your address, your branch address, and then always any changes here, press save. The next tab I want to bring you to is images. So this is where you upload your logo, and again, if you're on an enterprise account, you might have this already uploaded for you. And the other one is your image. So you want to be able to place your image on there because it is part of the report. So go ahead and do a browse, find the image, and place it in here. And if you need any assistance with this, again, email us at support, and we'll be able to help you get your image into your account. We're going to be talking about fee templates and product templates, so we'll be coming back to these two tabs after we have created our report. And lastly, before we jump into creating our total cost analysis, let's click on the Help button. So if you click on Help, it's going to bring you to a new web page. But with this, it is our knowledge base. We have many video tutorials on how to create a total cost analysis, purchase refi, as well as FHA loans, how to read a TCA. It's a great way of learning how to read that report, so then you'll be able to help explain that report to your client. We also have a reinvestment strategy tutorial, so we have that there when we go into that piece. I'll talk a little bit more about it. But just to show you how these work, I clicked on how to read a TCA. We have a YouTube link as well as a direct download, because some of our clients do have blocks in their office on YouTube, so you do have a direct download, so you'll be able to view the report that way. So now let's go back to Edge. I'm going to click on Home Screen, and we're going to start a new report by clicking on New Client. This is going to generate our total cost analysis or rent versus own. If you were doing the open house, you would just start that process by clicking on New Partner. So let's click on New Client, and we're going to start the process off. I'm going to, and to let you know, I did have some people on the call last week because I go through each of the fields, so then you could determine how you want to be able to build out your Edge reports. So with that, I'll tell you the minimum amount of fields, but then we'll talk about all the other fields as well. So what I'm doing here is let's go ahead and put in a first name. I'm going to go ahead and put the name Ann, and say you want the last name of Smith. So, I mean, you would put their real name, but I'm using the last name of Smith. If you have a co-borrower, you could put their first name and last name here. But I also want to point out we do have an individual marketing, and the only difference is individual will provide you the line items for the names, whereas a marketing is just providing you a report headline here to be able to use. So you have that to be able to do a marketing piece. Phone number, if you have it, you go ahead and key it in. Again, I'm trying to keep it as basic as possible. The buttons here, own or rent. The difference between these two is what report style you're going to get. The total cost analysis is on own, and the rent versus own is on rent. And we have them both in here because with this one data set, you'd be able to create both reports. So if you have a first-time home buyer and they're not quite sure what a mortgage does for them in the sense of being able to have that interest write-off. So it's good to be able to show them that rent versus own, to be able to show them the advantages of having a mortgage. And then you can also provide all the details in the total cost, which is what we're creating today. So the partner email address, I'm going to go ahead and put in support.mortgagecoach.com. And the reason for a partner email address, if you're working with a realtor or partner, or maybe you have a loan officer's assistant or processor, and they want to receive an email alert, you'd be able to put their email address in there. And this is an email alert here. And what it is every time a presentation is closed, you're going to receive an email alert letting you know how long it's been viewed, who it was for, the title of your report, contact information here, and then you can always click on it to be able to view the presentation. But getting this email alert is letting you know that your client has viewed the report and it's time to reach out to them and be able to answer any type of question. So those are the email alerts, and you do have a secondary field for your partner or an assistant or a processor to receive those as well. So now friendly name field is a reference name. So I'm going to put in the word purchase. There is a way to do a copy. So you'll be able to copy if, say, Ann's doing a refinance, as you know, on a different property or investment. This is how you keep track of which file it is. Also, if you are worried about security, you could put in the full name here of your client and then remove the last name. So that way on the face of the report, it's just their first name, and then the client doesn't have to worry about being exposed. So if that is one of your concerns, you go ahead and just remove that last name, but make sure you put in the reference name, because you might have a lot of files for Ann or David or any kind of common name. So I want to be able to show that to you. So now once we're done with the screen, you can see how there's really not a lot of data that you have to key in. So we're moving on to our next screen. And in our goals screen, you want to mark purchase a new home on purchase loans, which is what we're doing today. The other fields are for refinances, and you'll see that there's a lot of additional fields in the aspect of this is your conversation. So if you're using Mortgage Coach, you can use it on the phone, taking this data. A lot of times you already have it, so you can move on. So it really depends on how you want to build out the report. We have a notes section, and you can place any type of notes in this area, and the consumer will not be able to see it. So if you place any kind of notes, you'll see as I advance the screen, they carry with you. So this is your notes section, and the more you write, you will get a sidebar here to scroll down. So again, also if you're working with an assistant or a processor, it's a good way to keep notes in your Edge file. So I also want to point out these arrows in the center, on the left and the right, in the middle of the screen. Every time you advance the screen either way, that is what's triggering your save. So that's your save button. So always when you're filling out data, before you exit either to the home screen or out of Edge, make sure you advance the screen left or right. You also could just advance it to a different screen. That makes the save as well. So now what you want to do is I'm going to put in a purchase price of $350. The other items here are items for a refinance. So if you're doing a refinance, you would fill out those information. And again, we also have a Thursday training class that actually dives into different types of scenarios, how to really do the functions copying, and all the details like that. We also cover refinances as well during that time. The one thing I do want to be able to point out is if you leave any fields in red empty, so let me advance my screen, you'll see an exclamation mark. And that's letting you know that you have a field in red that hasn't been filled in. So just go back and fill in that field in red. This also triggers your LTV percentage, so just wanted to let you know what that field does. If you're doing a refinance, this is where your property value goes. Now coming to the affordability screen, I'm going to explain all the fields on here, But if you're in a hurry and just want to create a report, you could bypass this screen as well as our next affordability screen and just come to our products. So to show you what those fields are for affordability, say if I entered my gross income of $95,000, and if you talk to them, they said they had good credit, go ahead and indicate so. We do not pull credit in Edge. It's just a placement of knowing if they have good or bad credit. Mortgage debt, I'm saying they have $500 monthly non-mortgage debt, and I place it in here. So what this is going to do in our product section is provide you your debt to income ratio. So it's not necessary, but if you fill it out, you'll be able to place that in there. The savings balance, I'm going to go ahead and put in $25,000 at 0.25% interest rate. It's just a savings account, that's why the rate is so low. But when we get to the analysis screen, I can show you how this information will carry over, and it will also help you to determine if they have enough cash to close. So that's why I put this information in. Again, it's not necessary. If you want to show the tax advantage, you could go ahead and put in that tax bracket. If you're unsure of it, you would just click on this Find Tax Bracket. It opens into a web page that will provide you that information and assist you with that. If you do MCC tax credits, we do have the option to be able to show one scenario with and one scenario without the MCC tax credit. So if that is something that you do offer, you could go ahead and use that field. If you need more information on that, you can always email us at support and we can provide you more information. Now in our affordability screen, this is where you would want to be able to, if you collected this information, just put in the maximum ideal payment in the price range of the home. In this instance, I'm going to go ahead and just advance the screen and then get to our products. So going into the first 4 screens, you really only have about 5 fields that you have to fill in. So it can go very quickly, and I wanted to really point that out because it did just take us 10 minutes just to review that information. So also letting you know on yesterday's Thursday call, which is our training calls at 9, I went through and was able to create a report using our product templates and fee templates, and it was less than 5 minutes. So just wanted to let you know as you're coming through here, it doesn't take as long as I'm doing. So when you first come through, this is where the first scenario you want to be able to provide your client. So name for this product, I'm going to go ahead and just put an FHA 3.5% down. And with our titles and our labels here, you need to keep them to 12 characters. I always like to put the type of loan, FHA conventional VA, and then the percentage down. If you were doing comparisons of different terms, you would want to put that term in there, but you will have the term on the face of the report. So now coming through, I just wanted to show you we do have product templates that you can create. But for today's purposes, I'm not going to select a product template, so you can learn how to save your own templates. If you do have any templates in here if you're on an enterprise account, go ahead and type F and look and see if they have an FHA template for you to draw from. If they do, go ahead and click on that and pull that information in. So now how to build our templates. We want to mark it yes, is this a VA or FHA program? What this will do is provide you your field for your upfront MI. So if you're also doing a conventional single premium, you'd want this as marked yes. And that's the only thing that this field does in our system. So now with our down payment, you can either put a dollar amount, but I'm going to use the percentage field. And what I do is just press the button in that center, and it's just a toggle between dollar and percent. So let's put in 3.5%. Our interest rate is 4.25, and our term is 360. So with our default, we'll default the 3.5 and the 360 and the yes for FHA. So the only thing you'll have to do is come in and key in the rate. Now I want to point your attention to the upper right-hand corner where we have graphs. As soon as I advance my screen, you'll see the graphs starting to display, and we'll be able to show you the loan comparisons here. Because I do not have my monthly costs, this is just my straight P&I payment right now. You'll notice right below that we have the debt to income ratio as well as your LTV percentage. So now let's go ahead and add our upfront MI. So go ahead and click on that percent sign and put in 1.75 and mark it, add MI to loan amount. Again, this will be part of your default, so you won't have to do that in the future. Prepaid interest is another field that's a default, and I'm going to go ahead and key in 15, and you just need to find out what the estimate is on providing that to the client on your pre-GFE. Majority of the clients I've been seeing is 15 days. Some do have 30, so I would just check with your company and find out what they would like to quote. So you'll notice I'm hovering my mouse over that 15-day field for the prepaid interest. You'll see that I have a display come up and it tells me that dollar amount and how much that is. So now what I'm going to do is I want to work on our closing cost details. So you can do lump sums in the sense of I know my APR fees are about $1,500 and non-APRs are $12. This is one way of being able to do fees. But what I'm going to do is show you how to itemize your fees to be able to provide that transparency. So let's click on that closing cost detail button. And this is going to bring you to an additional screen. You do have an option to have your template by state. This, if you're originating in multiple states, this is a good way to be able to start creating multiple templates based on state. If you're on an enterprise account, go ahead and look at this drop down. You might have some fee templates. If so, go ahead and pull down an FHA template. So what I'm going to do is leave mine empty, and I'm going to start and show you how you can create these templates. And definitely take the time to do this. It's an amazing tool. Once you put in your fee and product templates, you would be able to really zip through these files and create these reports. So looking at that blue bar in the lower section here, you'll see that our prepaid interest days carries over with the dollar amount, and that figure is the start of our borrower paid fees. We do have the option for lender and seller and broker as well. So now what we're going to do is create a fee template. So I'm going to show you how to put in an APR, non-APR fee. Then I'm going to show you how to do a custom fee as well as contribution. And the best way to start creating a fee template is by going to your LOS system and pulling a fee cost sheet for an FHA conventional and a VA product. So with that, it will be able to provide you all the information about the fee descriptions, dollar amounts, and if that fee is an APR. Once you have that, you just come in here and put that information in, and it's rather easy to do. So what I'm going to do first is click on Add Fee, and I'm just going to click on it a couple times. You'll see we'll have a field for the description, the method, and what the method does is allow you to do a percentage as well as a cushion. So you have both those fields here. Then you have a total. Then you have your paid by. Who is it being paid by? Borrower, lender, seller. If the fee's APR. If you're doing a refinance and want to add the fees to the loan amount, you would be able to do that as well. And PPE is for prepaid escrow. So when we do our impounds, you'll see how these boxes will be marked. So now let's go ahead and place in an APR fee. So I'm typing in the letter L to drop me down to my labels that are starting with L. And I want to pick loan origination. So once I have done that, now that is my label. And I'm going to go ahead and put $9.95, and I'm having it marked as an APR item. Just to be able to show you, I'm going to keep it at $9.95, but I also want to show you, you can put a percentage. You'll see that dollar amount. You can put in a negative percentage. And if you have that, I know I work with title fees. Once you get that figure, you can always place that in here, as well as a cushion. So you have that dollar amount, and if you wanted a cushion, it will add those two fields together. So I just want to explain those two fields a little bit for you as you build out your templates. And again, any kind of questions, always email us at support. We'll be able to help you. So now we have our APR item. That's a real quick item to add. Let's do a non-APR item, which I'm typing A, and I'm going to put in an appraisal field. So we have appraisal fee, and I'm going to put $4.95, and I'm going to leave it not marked as an APR item. So that's really quick how you do APR, non-APR items. It's a pretty simple process. Now, say in your drop-down, you don't see the fee description that you want. So to be able to create a custom fee description, click on that green button, Add Custom Fee, and now you'll be able to develop your own label. So if I go ahead and I'm just putting in custom fee, I'm only putting today's date. You don't have to do this, but I do it because this way you can see the template I created. So with that, remember we had that percentage field. That percentage field could go off the loan amount or your property value, which is also your sales price. So depending on what your fee field or fee description is, a lot of people are creating title fees certain ways. So if they have their own description, but depending on if it's a refi, they want the loan amount, and if it's a purchase, they want the property value. So just let you know how that works, and always come through and decide if that is an APR item or a non-APR item, and then prepaid escrow. So with this, I'm pressing OK, and now I have that custom fee label in my drop-down. So for any future fee templates, you have that, and you'll be able to use it. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and put in $625 for that fee, and it's a non-APR fee, so I'm going to leave that not marked because I also didn't put it in my custom fee. And if you have the question, what happens if you did a typo or need to modify it, we do have that in our settings, and we'll touch base with that once we're done creating these products. So next I want to show you a contribution. So I'm going into add fee. I'm typing C for contribution, and let's find that label right here. This label has logic in it. We have built logic, we know it's a contribution, and we know this dollar amount needs to go against your borrower fees. So if I put in a amount of $1,000, you'll notice down here where the borrower paid fees are, it's $27.15. As soon as I press return, it reduces that amount, and now the lender's picking up that amount. You can also have the seller pay that amount as well as the broker. So that's how you use a contribution using our label. So you can enter it as a positive and keep it this way. A lot of times people put the line item, especially on purchase products, as contribution just so they can hold that conversation and possibly have that conversation with the seller. Next I want to show you is I'm going to add a contribution, but I'm going to make it a custom label. So say I want to be able to do lender credit instead of the word contribution. If I type the letter OK, I now have that in my drop-down. But with this, because there's no logic, because you just created that label, you will have to put this in as a negative to offset those borrower fees. You'll also have to keep it marked as borrower because, again, there's no logic behind the label you created, and we need to know where to offset those fees. So that's how you do a lender credit or a customized one, as well as how to be able to use a contribution. So when we get to the conventional product, we will be going through the fees one more time. So if you have questions, please put it in the chat box, and I'll be able to assist you with that. So once you're done with this, the first thing you want to do is save it as a template. So anytime you come in and do any kind of modifications to a fee template, if you're going to use that product in the future, always just click Save As, and it will save as a new template. So I'm just putting FHA 10-3. Again, you don't have to put the date. If you're originating in multiple states, choose that state, and it will do a sort for you. And once I press OK, you'll now see in my drop-down the FHA product you just created. So once you're all done with your fees, you want to click on the button Apply to Loan. So once I do that, it will total all my APR fees, non-APRs, and place them in this outside screen. You'll also notice that the fields are grayed out, and the reason for that, if you need to make a change, go back into the closing cost details and make your change. We also have, I want to point out, the points field. Here you can also do a positive as well as a negative point. So you can go ahead and place that information in this field as well. So moving on to our next screen, and the last screen for the product, is our monthly cost. And to be able to fill out this information, it is part of your template. The more you fill out, the less you have to type in. So you can go ahead and put an estimate, say, of hazard insurance of $100, or use a percentage. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 0.35, and it calculates that dollar amount. Property tax, I'm estimating at 1.25. And now let's work on mortgage insurance. So FHA's mortgage insurance is on a declining balance and for the life of the loan. So what you want to do is click on that percentage field, put in 1.35%, and you'll notice as soon as I press the return, we have a couple extra fields. So with FHA, you want to mark calculate MI on balance. That provides that declining balance FHA and USDA loans require. So if you're creating a USDA loan, make sure you also have that box marked, and you have to have a percentage. It will not work on a dollar amount because on the declining balance, they need to know that percentage each year. Now let's move on to the MI cutoff month. So the MI cutoff month tells the system how long you have to carry mortgage insurance. In this particular case, I'm putting in 360 because we have to carry MI for the life of the loan. When we get to the conventional products, I'll go ahead and explain the correlation between MI cutoff percentage and MI cutoff month, so how these two fields work together. Yes, Sean, I know yesterday, excuse me everyone, Sean has a question that my LTV percentage is at 98.19. I believe what's happening is they're taking into account the upfront MI. I need to have them correct that. So we just noticed it yesterday. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, and we will be modifying that. So now once you have your monthly costs, you want to come down to your reserve. So put in your estimate if you collect 2 months of reserves. So I've seen 3 months as well. And same with your taxes. So this will be part of your default, which you can always override if you need to. Now with the collect 12 months premium, I want to do that for this particular loan. And now we're done with this particular product. So let's save it as a template. So now you have your first FHA product template. So it will carry through the label that you have. And I'm going to put it in, again, today's date, because I want to be able to point out this particular product template. So I press OK. My templates have been saved. So we create a fee template as well as a product template. So now we want to add a second product. And to do that, I'm clicking on the green button, add another product, and let's create a conventional product. So let's put in a label of conventional, 5% down. Again, if you have a product template, go ahead and select it. If I scroll down, you'll see my FHA template right there. So let's go ahead and put in 350. Hit that percentage button, put in 5%, 4.5 rate, and 360. So with that, the 5% will be defaulted as well as your term. So when you use that template, you just have to put in your rate. Moving to the next screen, our fee screen, let's go ahead and put in our 15 days prepaid interest. You'll notice at the very base, since we did not mark yes for FHA VA, that front MI field did not display. So now let's go into our closing cost details. And the easiest way, if you're creating these templates, usually your fees are quite similar, just off a little bit, different numbers for FHA versus conventional. So let's start this process off by pulling down the fee template we just created. So I'm bringing in the FHA 10.3 product, and say my appraisal fee might be less. And maybe I have an additional fee item. So just to be able to add a fee item, I'm going to go ahead and put on credit report. So with that, I have market. And this is how you could quickly develop templates once you have one done. Pull it down, make your modifications in any way, add fee. You can remove fees just by using that trash can. And then once you're completed with any kind of modifications here, you always want to save it as a template. So I'm putting in conventional 10-3-14. So that's, again, how you'll be able to quickly create your second fee template and multiple templates just by coming into here while you're creating the report. Also in our settings, we do have a copy function that will copy one template over to another, and again, another way of speeding up that process. So let's apply to loan. advance our screen, and now let's put in our monthly costs. I'm just going to go ahead and open up my percentage fields, put in 0.35, 1.25, and I'm just using 0.67 right now for my MI for conventional loans. So with that, you'll notice that I put in a percentage and my Calc MI on balance appeared. I'm not going to mark it because it's not an FHA loan. But now let's discuss the MI cutoff percentage and the cutoff month. So with this, the way it currently is showing, once the loan has reached to 78% LTV, the MI will be dropped from the loan. So say if your policy might have a minimum period to be able to have MI, so say they have a 24-month minimum of having MI, you would put in that 24th month in here. And what the system will do is on month 25, start reviewing the MI and looking at the MI cutoff percentage to determine when that MI is dropped from the loan. So on FHAs, we had it at 360, so it's never going to look at that 78% because the life of the loan, it has mortgage insurance. So now let's put in 2 months hazard, 4 months taxes, and collect 12 months premium, and we're done. So let's save that as a template as well. I'm going to go ahead and add today's date, and then press OK. So now we just have our 2 product templates side by side. As soon as I advance the screen, the monthly costs are going to be added to this product here. You can add up to 4 products, but in this particular point, I'm just leaving it at 2, just to be able to show you how to do product and fee templates. And now once we advance our screen, we're coming to our analysis summary, and this is where you customize the report. So we have 3% appreciation rate here, and I'll show you where that appears on the report. You would choose the percentage in your area, and if you don't want to show property appreciation, you can always just leave this at 0. So I'll place it back at 3%, and then the next 2 fields, short-term and long-term. So the short-term is your lower left-hand corner, unrecoverable costs, which we'll review that when we get to our report. And when you're holding that conversation with the client, you know, they might be in their house for a minimum of 7 years. So you could go ahead and put that as your short term and show them, hey, this is how your loan will be over that period of time. And same with the long term. We're just displaying 15 years. If you want to display the full term of the loan, you could do that as well too. And as you start getting comfortable with Edge Live, you can make these changes when you're talking to them on the phone. So Edge Live is a great tool to be able to have that interactive conversation. So you have total interest and MI paid. So this is what's displayed. You can also show them net worth. So if we're using that reinvestment strategy screen, you would want to show net worth or total principal paid. A lot of times with first-time home buyers, I like to be able to show them the total interest and MI paid that they're showing. We have benchmarks here. What those benchmarks are doing is being able to decide what you're comparing against. So the highest payment you'll see right here is the FHA product, and that's what we're comparing against. Say you want to compare against the conventional product. If I choose that, now you'll see that the graphs change. So depending on what you want to show to the client, you'll be able to decide which benchmark you want to do it. This is for the short-term monthly payments and then the short-term savings. If you're doing a refinance, always make sure that these are marked current mortgage. Now let's go, I'm just touching a little bit on the reinvestment strategy. In this matrix, you'll be able to show them how to reduce principal. Quick way of doing it, here's my savings and my conventional product. If I went ahead and put in 197.28, look at the freedom point here. Once I press return, that freedom point adjusts. So it just tells them that they went from, if they keep that payment, they'll have that loan paid off in less than 25 years. Their MI also starts, MI cutoff month also decreases because they're paying down that principal, and the LTV is, will be met a lot sooner. So just to be able to show you that, if people want to take a 30-year loan, try to make it a 15, you can adjust it by just telling him or them how much money it would take additional each month to make a 15-year loan. And just a sneak peek, if you double click, you can reinvest MI, and you can do lump sum payments as well in here. And you could take your savings and apply it to a savings account, or an investment account. So we have different options to be able to use. I also want to bring your attention to that savings balance. This is where it comes into play. So if they say they have $25,000 in the bank, you'll see that they do definitely have enough money to close. So with this, you'll be able to help you with that conversation. I'm pressing OK. We're done with our analysis screen. Now we come into our contact details. You could place the email address in here. We do not email anything out for you, so feel confident to place this information for your contact information. If you know the street, you could place the street or to be determined. But this is another place where you can put in a label. So say I want to put great time to buy. You could place that as the street address. And I'm putting in Irvine, California. So in this aspect, I'm not putting the street address for one reason, is for privacy. You know, you could put it in the city and state. You might not know it if it's a purchase anyhow, so you can use this as a label to be able to be on your report. Moving on to our next screen, we're doing the total cost analysis. You do have an option for an amort schedule. If you did not want to show a product on your report, we can't delete the product, but you can always uncheck the box and then only the other products will display. Down here in our payment notes section, you would want to put something like estimated taxes and insurance are included with your payment. Whoops. In your payment. And this is a compliance piece that I'll show you on the report where it displays. Again, if you're on an enterprise account, this might be already provided for you. Just remember when you put it in, if you do not collect taxes and insurance, make sure you put are not included. Now the next three screens are very simple. It's just a review of the graphs and what you've keyed in. So just bypass those, get to the very last screen, and now we're in our preview. So if I always hover my mouse over presentation, go directly up, we come to this screen. So let's put on our quote date. I'm putting today's date. We do have a print and a save function, but I'm going to show you how to do that all through the email link, because the link is the important piece of Edge. This is what you want to be able to send out to your clients. That way you have interactive communication with them. If you make any kind of changes to your data, they'll be able to see it and update it on that link. They won't be able to see the updates if you printed it or provided it as a PDF. Notify me when this report's viewed. This is when you're going to get your email alert, so make sure you have that marked. And you'll see the last button on the screen. If you want to send an alert to your partner, you would go ahead and check that box. So I could click on preview, but our preview button is also in our generate link button. So I'm going to go ahead and click on generate link. And with this, this is where your link is going to display. This is where you want to copy and paste that link into an email. So with this link, this is unique for that report, and no other report will have that. So that's why it's interactive. Make any changes, it will update this link. So now let's take a look at our report. So I'm going to click on Edge Live, which is the same as the preview. Actually, let's go do a video first. I'm going to add audio video. And this is our report. This is what we just created. So to add a video to it, let's click on the record message button in the lower left-hand corner. And your video message will start coming up. I'm going to go ahead and press allow. And hi everyone, my name is Lori. What you want to do on any type of report, put a video message, because this is your communication. A lot of people don't have face-to-face anymore, and this is one way to make that connection with the borrower. You also want to describe a little bit about the report, as well as provide a call to action. So it's very important that you place this on here. It'll be the first thing that opens up. Well, second thing, you have the disclaimer. First thing they'll open up, and they'll be able to see it and hear you. It'll be on the mobile device as well as on the desktop. And we also have a button right here that you can record audio only. So if you're not comfortable yet or don't have a video, you could go, or a camera, you could go ahead and click on record audio and provide that message. And again, the importance is if you have multiple borrowers on the loan, each of them are going to hear your message. So it's not going to be interpreted. each of them can hear exactly what you want to describe. And it's roughly about 5 minutes. You can record. You don't want to get too wordy because, you know, they'll start losing interest in a little bit. But definitely, I can encourage you to more so to put that on the report. So now let's take a look at our report. And what did you just create? So with this, I'm going to do a couple different things. I'm clicking on my share button just to show you this is another quick way of grabbing your link. And I'm going to open up a tab. And with that tab, I'm pasting my link. So this is exactly what the client would do. They would click on that link and a report would open, and you would click on I understand, and then your video would start playing. And what I want to do now is actually show you, explain the report, and I'm going to use Edge Live. I'm also going to bring up my mobile device so you'd be able to see how this process works on the mobile device. So let me get my button again. So N-E-A-K. Okay. Press OK. So let's go ahead. I'm going to place this on my other screen. Just one moment. And I'm going to be able to explain the report and show you Edge Live all at the same time. Okay, open this up. I'm going to show both screens now, so you'll be able to see that. And just to show you how this looks on an iPad. So we'll get everything going at once. So let's go ahead and close that down. Let's shrink this down so it's not so huge on the screen. So you'll be able to see it. So on the right-hand side is the client, or is your copy. And the way you notice that is at the very bottom of each of the reports, the right-hand side has a Clear All button. The left-hand side does not. The left-hand side cannot click on any of the fields. They cannot highlight at all. They can go ahead and open the buttons and stuff like that, but they can't physically change anything. So let me go ahead and bring up my... There it is. Okay. So just to explain that, also you'll notice I have two viewers here. This is a way for you to know if the client has viewed you, or is on the report with you when you're discussing the loan options. By having the report on the left-hand side, this is telling me I do have two reports open. I have one in the mobile device as well as the desktop. So I know at this point in time I have two people looking at my report. So how are you going to discuss this with the consumer? So what you're going to do is, up in this upper section is your summary section, and this provides all the details. So you have your FHA product here, and you'll notice that I'm highlighting it, and it highlights on the report. I also can click again and highlight individually. And how am I doing those highlights is just by hovering my mouse over a field and left clicking. And you'll see that it is outlined, the cell's outlined in blue, so you'll be able to know exactly what fields you're clicking on. So I'm going to go ahead and clear all, but you notice how on the left-hand side, everything I'm doing on the right-hand side reflects on the client. So this is how Edge Live works with your conversation. So let's clear out all the highlights. So now with the FHA product, I do want to point out, click on the payment stream. It's a good double catch to make sure you have MI being carried for the life of the loan. If you had a second lien, you'll also have a payment stream for the second lien. Right below here, there'll be a button. You'll see on my conventional product that the information, I don't have MI for the life of the loan. So you'll be able to see that. So now let's click on the More Info button. And when we click on that More Info button, it will bring up the details behind each product. So we have 3 tabs. You have your payment breakdown, your closing costs, and your reinvestment strategy. So you'll be able to have the price value of your home. You have your P&I payment, the straight P&I, plus your monthly costs. So then we provide the total pity payment as well. So now if we move to our closing cost details, you'll be able to discuss this is how much their down payment is, as well as their loan to value. You have all the lump sums, looks just like our fee screen, but then you would want to be able to provide the fee details. So with the fee details, you'll be able to go ahead and describe that information to the client. If you click on a particular field to discuss it, like our reserves, it will go ahead and bring that line item down to that area. Then we have our reinvestment strategy screen here with our reduction payment. So if you were doing any kind of reinvestment strategy, before you resend the report to the client, you want to be able to go ahead and highlight those areas so they'll be able to see what you are doing. So you can always highlight specific fields prior to sending the report to the client. So let's go out of this screen. So that's our summary section with our basic information. You'll also notice with the payment, we have double asterisks with the clause pointing below saying estimated taxes and insurance are included in that payment. So that's where that payment note came through. Now let's discuss our monthly payment savings. You'll see there's no graph on the FHA because that's our highest cost. So you're saving $197 over that FHA each month. Go into the More Info button. It provides all the details about your loan, just basic monthly breakdown. If you have a second lien, it will have that information below. You can see what property percentage you are using as well as a tax bracket if you use those fields. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And now let's go into our short-term savings here. So what this is meaning, that $1,454 is not $197 times 60. What this is a total of your unrecoverable costs. So to be able to describe that more, let's go into the More Info button. And what we do is we take the interest and mortgage insurance that's accrued over 60 months. We add our fees to that amount. And that's our total of unrecoverable costs. We're never going to get that back. So with that, we're doing a comparison. So which is the better savings? And it's definitely that conventional product. So when I send out reports to anyone, I always make sure I have this area highlighted so it would be able to guide them through what those numbers are. And again, just as you're seeing me add these or working with it, you can see how it's reflecting on the left-hand side. So again, it's that conversation you're having with the client, being able to explain all that information to them. Then in the lower left-hand side, you have your interest and MI paid, so you can always change this to your net total principal as well as net worth. So with that, you could click on that More Info. And I like going in here. I like seeing that home value. If you put in that 3% appreciation rate, this is what it shows the appreciation over time over 15 years. If you left it at 0, it would just be the value of the home today. The other item I like in the screen is that loan balance. I like to know what the ending balance is at the end of that time period, and that's something you'd be able to show the client as well, especially if you're using that reinvestment strategy screen. You'd be able to see that information and how their loan balance is decreasing and their equity is building. Then you have your total principal as well as your total pity payments over that time period. Now take a look in the lower right-hand corner. You have a save and a print button. So let me go ahead and close out my reflector. So now with this, you'll see the consumer also has those buttons as well. So they'll be able to print the report. I did have a client was confused a little bit, but you'll see as you go through it, you do have the side-by-side comparison that they would be able to print a hard copy as well and be able to view at their home. So not just with the link is the most powerful, but for their purpose, they would want to go ahead and do the print opposed to you providing it. And again, it's because of that live interaction to be able to have that updates anytime you make changes. So let me go ahead and bring up my questions. No questions yet. If you do have a question, go ahead and place it in that question box. The next thing I want to be able to point out, let's go back to Edge. So we've added our video and you have Edge Live. So I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Just to be able to show you another option on this screen, you have your view history. This is just showing the times I've made changes to my report, shows the time and date. It also has read receipt. So you'll be able to check that as well within the report. The other thing, when I did talk, I forgot to mention it. When I talked about Edge Live, about just highlighting and items, you can also change the thing, if you're on the phone, you could change the down payment, and they're going to see that reflect instantly on your report. So it's definitely not just explaining. You can customize it once you're talking to them. Ask them. They might want to say, hey, can you show me 10% versus 5? What if I reinvest my MI? You could do all that while you're in Edge, and it's going to be updating on the report. So say if I went into my conventional product, place 10%, advance my screen, and if I come into my report, it will go ahead and make that adjustment, and they'll be able to see that. So you see how it just updated that loan amount, and all my graphs will update. So that's why I want to be able to put that in there, just to be able to show you not just highlighting and describing that information, you can actually change your data, and that's why it's so important with the link. And same with the open house flyer. People want to print copies and provide it to realtors. Most of them have mobile apps now, and it's always great to have the mobile app. We've been seeing them in open houses lately. So, and you'll be able to have the link prepared to provide to any of the clients coming through that open house. You're gaining their contact information as well as they're getting yours through the report. So now coming back to our screen, let's go to our settings. Let's go to our fee template tab. This is where you can modify your fee template. So you can see both those fee templates here. Say you had an update to a fee, you could go ahead and make this here, and then this template has now been updated. Toward the bottom left, you have a Save As a button, quick way of doing that copy. You could copy templates and make your modifications here and build out your fee templates. And for those custom fee labels, click on the fee button, and for any reason, if you spelled it wrong, you could come in here or make any modifications. Even, maybe this one needs to go off the property value and not loan amount. So you can go ahead and make any of those kind of corrections through that fee button. Now let's take a look at our product templates, and let's take a look at the ones I created today. Let's scroll down, and here they are. So when you first come through and you save the template the first time, you'll see it saves all your data. I'm going to remove my interest rate because that's an important item that I want to make sure I key in. The call, yes, Greg has a question. Will this be archived? In just a moment, I'll show you where the recording is. If that's what you're talking about, the recording. If something else archived, let me know. But yes, we do. I want to keep my down payment, 15 days prepaid interest. Let's check out my fees here. So let's go to my closing cost details. I just combined the product as well as my fee template. So, and the one thing I didn't notice, when we put it into reserves, our reserves calculated for you over here. So let me go in here to our monthly costs. Our dollar amount did save. It will recalculate, but I like clean files, so I just go ahead and update this real quick. It doesn't take too long. And same with my 1.35. If you don't want your fee template attached to your product template, just erase all those trash cans, and you could go ahead and then use the drop down. But you can always, even if they pull, you want to use a different template, you can always override your fees with new templates. Then you see the upfront MI as well as the 2 months, 4 months, and 12-month premium. So now let me just go real quickly. I want to click on new client just to be able to show you how that product template works. Let's put in $350 in my loan amount. Wait, okay. Yesterday I could put in $35,000. So let's put in today's template of October 3rd. So here's FHA. See my down payment, 4.25. Advance my screen. Woohoo, my fees are all labeled. If I need any adjustments, make my adjustments. Pull down different templates if you want. And then check out my monthly cost screen. It's all done for me. I don't have to touch anything. So that's what the importance is. Take the time, build out your product templates and your fee templates. That's what's going to save you time in creating these reports. So let's go show you. Let's do our cleanup now. If you have any questions afterwards, want a little bit more addressed, well, I could go ahead and do that. But for closing up, click on the Help button. We have 2 areas I want to show you, our monthly calendar of events as well as our coaching call archive. Our monthly calendar of events will provide you all that information, our coaching calls, which we have every Tuesday at 9 a.m. If you haven't signed up, you can register for the call here. Also to let you know, just register once. You don't need to register each time. Once you register for the coaching calls, you have them all. Thursday training to really develop your edge knowledge. Go attend these Thursday trainings. This way you can ask any questions. If you want to see a specific scenario built, maybe an 80-10-10 or something like that, either let us know ahead of time or be on that call and let us know when we build those out. And then this is the class you're attending now. So if you have anyone else in your office that wants to learn Edge, have them come here and they can go ahead and sign up. So back to my home screen, let's click on Coaching Call Archives. So this is another place to go ahead and sign up just for your coaching calls or Thursday trainings. But you'll notice below, this is the most recent beginner class. So today we'll update today's call in this field here, so you can view that at your leisure and help build reports. But you'll see also over here all the different coaching calls. We had on Tuesday, we talked about the urgency for first-time home buyers. So we talked also about rent versus own. And then our Thursday call, we focused on how to be able to build, oh, it's not labeled yet, but how to build that rent versus own. And we did it in a way that showed you, once you have fee and product templates, it takes 5 minutes to create. And we go over other topics as well. So you have this information here just at your fingertips, as well as all our video tutorials. Here's that reinvestment strategy to learn it more, as well as our search engine I wanted to point out. So if you typed in MI, it will provide you any frequently asked questions or video tutorials regarding MI. So with that, everybody, oh, one more thing I just want to show. I'm going to our website, mortgagecoach.com. And with this, you have your community tab. You have the coaching calls as well as the webinars, but we also have an Edge Hall of Fame. And with this, we have many video reports, total cost analysis, rent versus own, open house flyers, of our clients. And they're just providing different scenarios, different samples, how they use it. So with that, I wanted to point out this one because the reason I'm doing it, you can use these as marketing and to have fun. This one is FHA right for The Simpsons? So Thomas went ahead and created one just trying to explain FHA loans and if it's good for that borrower or not. So I just want to point these out. Please feel free to go ahead and view those, listen to those videos, listen to those audios, and help you learn how to create that Edge report. So with that, everyone, I am completed our training for today. If you have any questions at all, you want me to show you something specific, just go ahead and stay on the call, put in the question box, and I'll go ahead and show you. So thank you very much for attending, and enjoy your day, everybody. You're welcome, Greg.